Okay. Okay. Good afternoon. I'm Lori Nicholas, and I'm the director here at Sycamore Academy. And I'd like to welcome you to our open house. We're very excited to tell you about our program and answer any questions that you might have. I'm going to give you a brief overview of how Sycamore works and what we do. And then I will introduce you to not all the teachers are here, but I will introduce you to the teachers that are here. And then we're going to hear from some of our students and parents and teachers, and they will give you a little more information about it. So Sycamore was started in 1981 out in California, probably one of the first homeschooling schools and probably one of the first homeschooling catalogs. They went online in 2001, and in 2012, we moved it to Texas and added live classes. And now we are kindergarten through 12th grade, and we offer live classes for every single subject, including electives that students need to get to the next grade and then eventually graduate from high school. Classes meet Monday through Thursday. Each class is 45 minutes long. The core classes meet 3 to 4 times a week, and our elective classes meet 1 to 2 times a week. We offer quite a few electives. The kids can take career planning, art, photography, culinary art, computers. We also have 2 foreign languages, Spanish and German. We use multiple curriculum. The curriculum comes from Bright Thinker, Ignitia, IXL. For our writing classes, we use a program called IEW, which is Institute for Excellence in Writing. The juniors use a program called The Lost Tools of Writing. We also teach from a Christian worldview. So everything that is taught from a Christian worldview. You may also pick your own curriculum. You do not have to do all of our classes. If you like teaching your child math, you can go right ahead and teach them math. You can pick and choose. They can just do electives. They can come in and just do foreign language, whatever it is you're looking for. Parents are also given a parent portal. You can log on at any time and look at your child's grade or see if they have assignments missing or if they've completed all of their assignments. We also do 3 parent-teacher conferences during the year. So at that time, you schedule appointments to meet with your child's teachers, and you get to go meet with them, see how your child is doing, ask questions, and do whatever it is that we need to do to make your child successful to complete the year. Enrollment is ongoing. You can enroll at any time. All we need is an email. We send you an enrollment form that comes back to us, and that begins the enrollment process. And it's as simple as that. At this time, I want to introduce the teachers that are here. And I'm just going to highlight them, teachers. I'm not going to ask you to say anything so that Mrs. Martet teaches some of our English classes. This year, she is going to add world history. And Dr. Watson teaches some of the science classes and a health class, which is a required class for freshmen. And this Mrs. Pettibone teaches our German. We were able to add German last year, so we're very excited. We'll have 2 years of German, which is what they need to graduate. Matthew, Mr. Hansen teaches an English class, and what were the other 2 classes you taught? Adobe and
Adobe Suite and Social Media Management.
And teachers, I'm sorry if I miss you. I'm trying to get everybody in here. Mrs. Velez. Mrs. Velez also teaches science classes and um, oh, and Mrs. Fuller.
Yes, hello.
Hello. So she will be teaching some of our English classes this year, and I believe a speech class. Mrs. Vargas is here. She is our Spanish teacher, but she is not feeling well today, so I'm not going to make her show stuff on it. Renee. There we go. I don't know. There we go. Miss Renee teaches junior English, U.S. history, world government and economics, and Bible. And I will also, Boy also teaches. She probably is going to be teaching some math this year, but she's my go-to person, and she doesn't know exactly what she's teaching yet. Okay. We also have parents and teachers and students here, and I just want you to know that even though we are meeting in an online environment, we do get attached to the kids, and the kids make lifelong friendships, and it's pretty amazing when you're only seeing each other through a screen that you can become best friends. And two of our graduates this year, Aiden and Ethan,
I'm here.
I gotcha. You've got to turn your camera on for me to highlight you. Thank you. And Mrs. Fuller says she will also be teaching a life skills class. That will be a new class for us this year. Thank you. Aiden, do you have your camera on? There we go.
Yeah, sorry. I just came to our church. I was
Oh, don't
driving.
worry. I want to get Ethan. So Ethan and Aiden graduated this year. Ethan, where are you?
I'm here.
What's your name?
Ethan.
Oh, there you go. For some reason, we're there you go. Spotlight for me. There we go. So both of these boys have graduated this year. We have loved them and we are going to miss them, but we are so excited about what God is doing in their lives, and they are going to tell you all about it.
Yeah, I think I'll try to talk a little bit because I think Ethan's out doing something and he's a little loud where he's at. But Ethan did Sycamore for a lot longer than I have, and he lives in California, and I did Sycamore just my senior year last year. Excuse me. And even though we're miles and miles apart, I live in Michigan and he lives in Cali. We became like best friends while we were at school at Sycamore, which is crazy because I was like in the beginning I was homeschooled for a bit, and then I was at just boarding school for a little bit. So I've had a wide variety of different school atmospheres. So I was like, well, online school, I mean, let's see how that goes. But the staff and the students, everyone is so awesome. It genuinely feels like family, especially like last year was great. One of the things that was super cool about Ethan in my school year last year was that at my boarding school that I was at, we had like class trips and stuff. And the senior class trip was like a trip to DC. So I was like, Ethan, like, what if we like all got together and we like went to DC or had like some form of a class trip, even though like we all fly in, and it was crazy. We were able to make it all work out. And my senior class, a lot of them were able to go to DC together. And that was, to my knowledge, the first in-person group trip that a class has ever done. So, and off of that, Ethan got a opportunity from one of his friends that also went to Sycamore, and then also someone who taught there for a little bit, to go on a mission trip. And Ethan was like, you know what? I guess we can go. So he decided he was going to go for, it's like 3.5 months or so in Lusaka, Zambia, to work at an orphanage. And then he called me up. He's like, man, I know you're going to do your journals and stuff. And how would you feel about skipping summer college, like first semester, and heading off to Africa and seeing what happens and working at an orphanage? I was like, well, I mean, I hadn't quite felt settled yet on what I was doing for my college career yet, and I felt more peace about going overseas to Zambia than I had about any college in the States. So it's crazy what God can do through schools, through friends, through bonding that you can have, whether it's in person or even miles apart over a computer screen. And I know Ethan and I are truly blessed that we had the Sycamore experience, because if it wasn't for school, we wouldn't have known each other, and the Zambia trip wouldn't be happening. And so God has really led, and we are so thankful for that.
Ethan, are you going to add to that?
Well, yeah, just what he was saying. I mean, Sycamore is pretty incredible, right? You think online school, you don't think you're going to make new friends, but you do. So like we had homeroom, right? And we were like, we got to think of fun things to do in class. And we're like, oh, we should do a senior trip. Just try and see if we could do it, right? And we did it. We did. And we had Miss Miranda lead it. It was like a government senior trip to DC. And then my friend called me for this mission trip. I was like, because I didn't know exactly what I was going to do yet either. So I was going to do community college. And so he called me. I was like, I'm so down to go. I can do school. Like I can catch up over the summer. It's community college. It's not a 4-year. And this is such a great opportunity. And God's calling me to do it, right? And it's an orphanage too, which is close to me and Aiden's hearts too, because we're both adopted. So that's another thing too, which is kind of crazy about this. And we've never met, like in real life, but we're like best friends. Like I have friends in person, obviously, but like me and Aiden, when we meet in like 2 weeks in person, it's gonna feel like not like we just met. Like it's gonna just feel like it's been a while since we've seen each other. So yeah, it's pretty cool how Sycamore works.
That's very cool. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely.
These are some of our bright stars that just graduated this year. And the guy that is also going with them graduated 2 years ago, I believe. And none of them have seen each other in person. So it's going to be a very full experience for them to go to Zambia and work in an orphanage.
Miss
Thanks.
Lori,
Yes,
this is Annie. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I know I said I was gonna be able to come because I had orientation, but we got out early. So I don't have anything prepared to say, but I just wanted to say all the freshmen. I was the president of the senior class that graduated last year. We went to Washington, DC. I was in Sycamore all 4 years, and it's an awesome school. It's actually not that hard to make friends. You would think that it would be, but it's actually pretty easy. And especially with homeroom now, I'm sure it'll be a lot easier than it was for us when we were in 9th grade. But I'm sure you guys will have a great time.
Annie, congratulations.
Thanks.
Starting her freshman year of school at Southern. Okay. Belinda.
I'm here. Oh, there we are. Hello, I'm Annie's mom. And I have to say that when I first heard about Sycamore and being an online high school, I didn't think it could be that great, because I didn't think that that kind of learning would really work, and just like the social aspect of it either. But we finally decided to give it a try because it was a way for Annie to keep doing extracurricular stuff that she liked doing, like playing the violin, doing orchestra, riding horses, and all of that was able to be worked into it. And it ended up being wonderful. And one of the things that I really love about Sycamore is that you have kids from so many different walks of life coming together, and from literally around the world. I know my girls have had kids in their class that are in India, in China, different places of the United States. I've taught kids that are in Brazil and Jamaica, and it's amazing. And so all these different kinds of people get to come together, and there's friends, and there's no cliques. I mean, you don't have the bullying, those negative things. Everybody is so, I've seen this. So I have 3 kids that are been in Sycamore in different ways. Annie has been there all 4 years of high school, but the kids all are so welcoming, inclusive, just helpful. I haven't seen any of that negative kind of stuff that happens when you're in, I don't know, brick and mortar school. But for Annie in particular, for those of you that like to just push yourself and go as far as you can, like for Annie loves math, and I can only go so far in math. And Miss Lori was able to take her a lot farther than any of our local academies could have taken her. And then from there, she was able to do dual enrollment in our community college. So she got a huge head start because she got to take Calculus 1 and Calculus 2 at community college, plus orchestra, and just really surprised the teachers at Southern. She's going into physics there because they've never had anybody come in with that high of a level of math completed. And she was also able to get ready for the SAT. Sycamore has ways to do that so the students can prepare for that as well. So she did amazing on the SAT, had a 4.0, and got full tuition scholarship to Southern that she's enjoying, and is just, well, I think she's amazing because she's my daughter, but she's got such a great foundation from being at Sycamore, and it just built her confidence, and I think it does something to you when you meet so many different people from so many different places doing amazing things. Like some of these kids have their own businesses, they're competing in different athletic things or equestrian stuff, and it just blows my mind. Like Sycamore kids are different. They're just a whole different way of being, and I love it. I love it for my kids, and I'm so glad that we ended up trying it out. It's been a great blessing, spiritually and socially and everything. It's been wonderful.
Thank you, Belinda. Okay, and Asha and Ariana. Ariana, you want anything?
Hello. I think Ariana's in here somewhere too. So
Yes, I'm here.
okay, she had a few minutes. I can start first and then she can, whichever.
Actually, can I go
Okay,
first?
you go first, baby. Go, because I know you got stuff to do.
Yes. Hello, everyone. I'm Mariana. I graduated last year from Sycamore Academy after having been there for 2 years. It was such a wonderful experience. It was really a blessing to be able to be a part of it. The teachers, first of all, were amazing. Everyone was so friendly, nice, and everyone was willing to help. Like if I had any questions, I could always ask. If they were always willing to help me after class even. And just every time I would go into class, they would greet me with a smile, ask me how was my day, how was my week. Also, what really made it Sycamore such an amazing school was the rest of the students. Everyone was very welcoming, very friendly, and I am still in contact with some of the people that I graduated with. And they mentioned this already, but the senior trip to Washington, D.C. was such a remarkable experience because I got to meet a lot of my classmates who I'd only ever seen before on the other side of the computer screen. And then meeting them in person was so amazing. Even though we hadn't ever met physically before, when we all got together in one place, it was like we had known each other for a while, not like we had just met. And we got to strengthen our relationships and our friendships and those bonds while we were in our trip in DC, and even afterwards we went on to graduate together. It was just amazing. Yeah, I talked really fast. But I really loved this school. It was just amazing.
Thank you, Ariana. You were amazing.
Awesome. Okay, go. Bye, baby. Sorry, I know she's got a lot of things to do. It's crazy week at first week of college. But the only thing I would add to that is one thing that kind of nobody mentioned, I'd mentioned before, but Sycamore has been great for all of us. So I have 3 now students in Sycamore. Ariana just graduated, and then I've got Ava in 9th, and then Micah is in middle school. And one of the things that was a major concern for me was the possibility of how would this school work for a student that might have some learning differences, that might be struggling with reading or math or things like that. But I just want to say it's been great. The teachers have been amazing, there to help, explaining information to them when they might, be struggling in certain areas. So it has truly been a blessing because they've homeschooled with me the entire time. So to have somebody else do it and explain it well, and then they're getting amazing grades and they're understanding it and they're coming and telling me about it, that was the amazing part for us. So overall, Sycamore has just been a blessing for our entire family, honestly. So
Thank you, Asha.
Sure.
Okay, and Miss Bonnie.
Hello, everybody. So I love teaching at Sycamore. I will be beginning my 29th year of teaching, not for Sycamore, but 29th year in general. This will be my 4th and a half, I think, year coming up for Sycamore. And so I have been in the Adventist system the entire time that I've taught. I really love Sycamore. I wasn't sure, I have to say. I'm not a very techie person. Miss Lori knows this. But I've been able to learn the tech stuff that I needed to do. I like it first and foremost because it is God first. And if you look at your priorities in life, you always put God at the top of things. And it's a ministry to help students be sharp tools in God's toolbox. So it's building that connection with Christ and giving them the skills that they need to go forward working for Him. Then comes family, right? In the hierarchy of priorities, God first, family next. And Sycamore acknowledges that and focuses on the family as well. For example, if the family decides to go on a mission trip mid-semester, Sycamore will work with the students, will work with the parents to make sure that that's okay and that they won't fall behind in their classes. Of course, if you know that you're going to go on a mission trip or something, and give us a heads up and we can maybe get them done with their things ahead of time before they go. But also, if the student has physical problems or emotional problems or something else, the teachers at Sycamore go over and above. I just have to say that. They have to go over and above to help the students get where they're going to go. And then comes, and Miss Lori doesn't know I'm going to say this, but I'm going to say it. Miss Lori is a great leader. She is the best principal that I've ever had. Yeah, and I see all of the teachers' heads nodding and the thumbs going up. So, yeah. So I think that maybe she should change her name, though. Instead of just Lori Ketcherside, I think it might be Lori Flexible Ketcherside, because she super is flexible. And that flexibility and sensibility allows the teachers to adapt their teaching methods for the on-learning in creating and innovative ways. So examples, learning strategies that I enjoy using and that other teachers enjoy using at Sycamore. You can do hands-on learning at Sycamore. For instance, in my science classes, we make sure that the students have lab kits and they do their laboratories right there at home. Projects, student presentations, recitals, rhythm activities, cooking for culinary arts, and it goes on and on and on. There are lots of hands-on learning things happening at Sycamore. Our program, which is called Bright Thinker, allows us to add our touches, our flares to the curriculum as well. So for instance, if we want to post PowerPoints or hyperlink videos or sing silly songs with the children and have a hyperlink to be able to let the students learn the silly songs for content material, we can do all of those things. Differences, well, it is online school. So if you can't get online, you can't go to school. And On that note, there are things that can be done. For instance, having a laptop or a desktop, not a Chromebook, with 8 RAM minimum and a high-speed internet connection. That's really super helpful. No Chromebooks, because with our curriculum, you can share your screen and have a whiteboard present, and the students, for instance, if I'm teaching math or something math in science, I can have the students working their problems on the board through their computer, but Chromebooks won't let you annotate or write on the board. And besides that, I've already mentioned that the teachers go over and above. So helping students, even those with disabilities, which has already been mentioned. And yes, the teachers can make connections with students as well. I met with my China students that I've had now for 4 years a couple of days ago. And as I saw them, it almost brought tears to my eyes. And I said, you guys, I just feel like you guys are old friends. They will be seniors this year and be graduating. I'm going to miss them dearly. And 2 of them will be coming to the United States for furthering their academics. I'm praying they come to Michigan because I would actually get to meet them in person. But it's a wonderful place to be. It's a wonderful place to teach. That's all I've got for you guys.
Thank you, Ms. Bonnie. Appreciate that. Matthew.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Perfect. So yes, I also wanted to add in there that I had the privilege of teaching one of Miss Asha's daughters in one of my classes this last year as well, Ava. And she is just a bundle of joy. If you know Ava, she may seem quiet at first, but when you have her comfortable, she has a lot to say. And we had many a good laugh in my class with Ava. So if you get a chance, you should definitely get to know Ava. She is a wonderful, wonderful student. And speaking of classes, that's what I'm going to talk to you a little bit about today, which is some of our extracurricular classes that you can take. And I was able to teach last year Adobe Suite and social media management. And those were both extracurricular classes that students had the opportunity to take. They're usually about a 45-minute class period. And the nice thing with that is we want to offer classes that are the traditional 9-to-5 school type classes, but also classes that students would be able to take where they can get it out there and put that into practice in the real world, straight from the class. So for example, with social media management, we actually go over principles of design like Gestalt principles and what makes a good design and what are the scientific theories behind it. But then how are we able to incorporate that? Well, whether we like it or not, social media is a pretty popular media outlet for today's youth and not so young as well. Some of the older in the group, I'm sure, are also active on social media as well. So it's become a staple in many people's lives. And this class was a way to use it as a tool. How do we take the tool of social media and use it to tell our stories? And what are the stories that we want people to know from us? So it was a great opportunity to be able to learn some design principles and then give the students the opportunities to make some designs that we could feature on our own social medias at Sycamore. And then if they wanted to teach them how to become social media managers so they could go freelance and start running social media as a business if they wanted to. So that's one thing I love about Sycamore is we don't just offer classes that you can take from a textbook. We also offer classes that you can put into practice in the real world as well. Back to you, Miss Lori.
Thank you, Matthew. And Miss Renee.
Hello, it was very nice to meet you all. My name is Renee Miranda, and I teach 9th through 12th grade Bible. And the rest of my class are the juniors and the seniors. So for my juniors, I teach American literature, which rolls right into my next class, which is U.S. history. And then my seniors, I teach government and economics. And really, they all, those junior, senior classes really feed into each other. Just to tell you a little bit about me and my perspective, as far as teaching. When it comes to our elementary school, middle school kids, I believe we are tasked by the Lord to protect them from the things in this world that they're not quite ready to hear or know or understand. Their brains just haven't been formed enough. But by the time they start getting into high school, we need to start introducing them to some things that need some critical analysis, because this great big world they're about to be launched into is going to hit them with the information, whether they're prepared or not. And so one of the goals that I have is to, through the subject matter we look at, prepare them to critically analyze the information they're getting, to look at it through a biblical worldview, and then to be able to be prepared to winsomely present the biblical worldview to whomever it is that they might come in contact with. And so I'll just give you an example through my U.S. history class. One of the reasons I love my American literature and U.S. history class is because they're paired so well. They feed off each other, and that is a beautiful thing to be able to see them. For me to experience. I love it. The kids seem to enjoy it too. But one example of making the subject matter I teach applicable so that the kids can see that this is not some just stale history or stale subject matter is that, for instance, we might compare some of the things that were happening in Nazi Germany. There's this philosophy of reoccurring history. I'm sure you've thought about it. There's nothing new under the sun, because without Christ, our hearts are deceitful and wicked, and nothing is new under that wickedness umbrella. And so in history, we talk about, let's look at what led up to Hitler being able to take over multiple countries, and how did he do that? And he got rid of the power of journalism, and then he used scare tactics to then be able to limit people's liberties. And then what happened next? And then we take that information and we start looking at the culture around us. Are we seeing that in our culture? And then when they're in 12th grade, right as they're on the cusp or are able to vote, they will memorize. Well, first of all, we dissect the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, and then they have to memorize components of it, because I want our students to know what this country was based upon. And several of our students, by the way, my heart was sick seeing all of them, because I'm not going to have them in my classes this year. It breaks my heart. I love them. But when I took them to Washington, D.C., over and over again, I showed them places, quotes, statues, all of these things to prove to them this country was built on biblical principles. And when people try to skew their beliefs that no, it was not, they have real life, I saw it, I touched it, examples that yes, it was. And it helps us move forward knowing the principles by which we were based. Because I do believe America is a great country, but that greatness only comes because it is a reflection of God's character. And that is the heart by which I teach my students. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Renee. Okay, now then, you've heard from our teachers, and we are here for questions and answers. So if you have any questions you'd like to talk to us about, you may ask them, unmute your microphone and ask, and put them in chat, and we will do our best to answer those.
Miss Lori, this is Belinda. I just wanted to add one more thing. And that is just what a wonderful, positive impact Sycamore's teachers have had on all my children. And I'm gonna try to say it without crying. But they truly care. And they're not just there to teach, they're there to help them become beautiful people. And I just think about just everything that they've done. And it's been such a blessing. And I just want everybody to know that it's not just a computer screen. It's really a relationship. And it's been wonderful.
Thank you, Linda. It is true. All of our teachers, this is a mission to them, and they love these kids, and it truly shows. Thank you, Linda. So, any questions that anybody has, you can put them in the chat or raise your hand or shout them out. Any questions? So the teacher that just spoke, Miss Renee, she teaches U.S. history, American literature, Bible, and government and economics. So juniors and seniors, and then the Bible is for all students. Can I let them know that I'm in? Yeah, we'll talk about that, Precious, like the teacher's name. Yes. Wait a minute. Can we get Dr. Watson? Dr. Watson, is she in here?
Yes, I'm here.
So, Dr. Watson, let's highlight you. Put you on the spot. Could you tell us what you teach and then where you are and what you're doing?
Well, last year I taught biology, aquatic science, and anatomy and physiology. I'm currently in Costa Rica. I go back and forth to Houston. My husband and I, we decided to come here to do missionary work here. There's a lot to be done. We felt a calling to come here, and now we have a calling to build like a wellness center. And my husband, he's a speaker also, so we go to different churches where he speaks about, he's a nurse, so he speaks mainly about the 8 natural remedies. We are very pro-natural, even though he's a nurse and I'm an MD, a foreign medical doctor. We have learned the amazing things natural remedies can do. And we've been trying to heal with the help of God, people, and we've seen how God has healed them through the 8 natural remedies. So we're very pro that. And we've been trying to learn as much possible. And we've seen many, many patients here in Costa Rica. Also, we go to the US and we've tried to help people over there as well. And so right now we're doing a wellness center. So hopefully they can come and stay and we can have a better, teach them, have more time to teach them better in the wellness center. But yes, we're here and it has been a wonderful year. I didn't expect this. I prayed a lot. I was looking for something to work at because I'm here with my 2 kids. So I didn't want a full-time job where I can leave them. I don't leave them anywhere, and I don't think we should nowadays. So I think this is the best way. Schools right now are not good. So I'm with my kids, and I wanted a little something to be able to help my husband so that we can continue to travel. We go to different places, not just the US, and he speaks. So this has given me the opportunity to still be with my children and also teach others what God has taught me in my experience and everything that he's taught me. And it has been a blessing. And one of the things I want to add with the kids in Sycamore that I was amazed to see, because I've seen other kids the ages and they're very polite. I was amazed how polite, and it actually helped because my kids listen in sometimes and they started teasing me because they call me Miss Watson. And so then my kids started calling me, yes, Miss Watson. But that politeness, it like sticks. So now my kids are learn to be very polite also. So I'm happy about that because I think that goes a long way, a smile and being polite. So it helps other kids to come in to learn how to talk to older people and everything. I mean, I'm looking forward to having my kids soon in Sycamore because I really like the teachers, the students, everything, the way it's done. So thank you, Ms. Lori, for giving me the opportunity to talk. And I look forward to having new kids. I love meeting people. So I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lutzman. Okay, one thing I wanted to add, many of you are having to leave. This will be on YouTube. We have a live YouTube. It's on the Sycamore Academy YouTube channel. I think you can just search for it, you'll see Sycamore Academy. And this will be on there. Tate and Evans asked, what would be the most significant difference between the live classes or online work at your own pace classes? So the most significant difference is you will be going through those classes on your own. And while I might recommend it for one class, I would not recommend that you do the whole class on your own. I mean, the whole year on your own. I think it's better to be led through by a teacher. But if there's something that you are great at, for instance, Annie was so good. Annie was the one that at Tennessee right now, she got a full-ride scholarship in math. She literally could finish algebra 1 and then geometry and then algebra 2. And then she said, I think I want to do trigonometry. So she did trigonometry and then she did pre-calculus. So she was able to work through all those things in 4 years. I don't even remember how many math programs she did with Sycamore, and then went to her local college and took a few more. So it works great. If you're great at math, absolutely work on through it. But I would not recommend that you do everything that way, because then you just tend to get bogged down and go, I'm just not going to do anything. So it's better to stay with the classes. If you're really good at math, then yes, work right ahead in math. The difference is a live class is a live class with a live teacher. A work at your own pace is you sitting there getting yourself through it. And that's the main difference.
Can I add something to that, Lori? I've noticed when they were with me, I was able to help them. And a lot of my students were able to get hundreds. I tell them it's an easy 100 if you do the work, but when they were doing it on their own, they get some questions wrong and they don't know what the correct one is. When they're in my class, I can correct them and say, no, the right answer is this one versus this, and I'll explain it to them. So for me, it's so much better for them to come to class because we can help them. But when they're on their own, like I would see some of the students that were doing it on their own, their grades were not as high because they get it wrong and they don't know what the right answer is. So then they'll get it wrong on the test, and therefore they'll always have it wrong in their head. So we can help them to let them know what the right answer is and why it's like that, so it could stick.
Thank you. That is true. Yeah. Okay.
Can I add something as well, Miss Lori?
Right. Go right ahead.
Sorry. So
No problem.
I think that we're made to be social people. And being able to learn on your own is a wonderful skill and a skill that they're going to need for life. So I agree with Miss Lori, math, that's okay. But besides just going through a curriculum and getting knowledge, I think that we need to be able to build social skills. And yes, it is possible on a computer. Plus, teachers often have something more than the curriculum offers. They have things about connecting with Christ. They have laboratory experiences. They have projects. They have different kinds of ways, silly songs, things that make the learning stick maybe forever in the student's mind. And that's something that the curriculum just in and of itself can't do.
Yes, that's true. And life lessons. There's a lot of life lessons for learning. Ms. Renee, this is going to be for you. What Bible is going to be offered?
So all my students 9th through 12th are in the same class that meets at 3:15 Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And so all the 9th through 12th graders that are in my class will cover the same content. The thing is that my classes are on a 4-year cycle. So this year, all my Bible students will study the same thing. I'm calling them like Bible Alpha. Next year is Bible Beta. The next was Bible Omega. But the content for all 9th through 12th is the same in 9th grade. And in that same class, the next year they'll go and we will all together 9th through 12th study a whole nother something. And then the next year it'll be a whole nother something. But 9th through 12th is all together.
Did you say what you're studying this year?
I haven't said it yet. At some juncture, there will be a comparative religion content. Let me tell you about some of the in past years. Last year we did a very intensive study on biblical worldviews and looked at different social issues throughout society, which did include a very hyper intensive focus on creation versus evolution with a lot of hardcore data that we studied. And then the year before that, we looked at the biblical narrative, Genesis through the New Testament. And then we looked at archaeological finds that paralleled in that time. So when someone's talking about the pyramids, well, the pyramids were built before, give me a minute. Before, nope, give me a second. It's been a very long day. Anyway, the pyramids were before Abraham left Ur. And then we had already been talking about all the archaeological finds in Ur and how pagan focused they were. And then we talked about how what God had to take Abraham out of Ur if he was going to do a sanctifying work in his heart, because paganism was so rampant in that place. And so that's just an example of that. But this year we're going to have some comparative religion, because I'm hearing from the teenagers in my life and friends of them, all that, they can't distinguish between them. Like, there's definitely, even among our Christian kids, this idea that your truth is as good as my truth and your beliefs as good as my beliefs and you do you, and it simply isn't true. And I just don't want them to live in the oppression that can come outside of anything besides Christ.
Thank you. Okay. I don't see any more questions in the chat. Does anybody else see any questions here? And do you have any more questions? Any questions? Brian, do you have any questions? Okay. Well, I appreciate y'all coming. If anybody does have any questions or you want to talk to me privately, I'm available by phone. The high school class, it's pretty close. We'll be getting it. I think we'll try to get it out this evening. Are you wondering about a specific class, Peyton? No, you just want the general schedule? Yeah, I think it's pretty close to being ready. My problem is kind of the juniors and seniors right now, but I think it is. I want to go ahead and give you my email, so if anybody has questions or you want to talk to me, I'm available at that email, and you can also call me at this number. What are all the electives available? Our electives, we actually just talked about adding college and career counseling. We are going to be doing personal finance, art, photography, culinary art, music appreciation. Mrs. Elliser, who does our music appreciation, is thinking about adding a piano class. So that would be in addition. We will be having a computer class, which can be an elective. It's also a requirement. You're required to have 1 year of computer before you graduate. Career planning. And in addition, we have 2 electives that a lot of the students really like. One of those is we have yearbook, and the kids all get together and they make the yearbook, and we have it printed and it's mailed to you. The kids can sign each other's yearbook online, and then it comes to you printed with those signatures. And so if you're interested in doing that, the kids do get very close and they really have fun putting that together. And the other class is newsletter, where you get a journalism credit, and they put out a monthly newsletter, which honors our seniors and our teachers and just gives Sycamore news. Okay. So we'll have a list. Lisa and Tammy, remind me, and let's mail out a list of the electives to everybody so that we'll have the electives out and can choose. That way they know what they are tomorrow night. We'll try to get a letter out tomorrow. When does registration start for 11th grade? Registration is happening right now. So the next thing will be orientation. And orientation, well, all the teachers will be there. We will do some presentations on general etiquette for being in a Zoom room and the things that are expected. You'll get to meet the teachers. And can somebody post when that orientation is for high school? I believe it's the 29th. But somebody post that in the chat. So the finalized schedule, well, I think that 4 classes are finalized and we will try to get that out. And so Brian is asking about that. I will have Lisa email you our rough draft so you can see when they are. And then Lisa makes it very pretty and you're able to see it a little better. On Bright Thinker, let me see if I can pull it up very quick. I'm going to try to. And I'm going to show you how you know what your schedule is. Give me just a second. Let me share my screen real quickly. So when you get your Bright Thinker sign on, it is going to look a lot like this, and your classes will all be listed. And this is how you know what your schedule is. So on this one, biology needs. This is B is second semester, A is first semester, Velez is the teacher, MTWR are the days of the week, and we use R for Thursday. It became too confusing to put TH, and so we just R is Thursday. So biology meets all 4 days. It meets at 10 o'clock. Now this is last year's schedule. Yours will say 23, 24. Okay? When you click on that class, and we will go over this in orientation. This is from Mrs. Velez. She has a landing page, and right here, I don't know if you can see where I'm highlighting, that is your Zoom link to her class. So when you are enrolled in the class, you'll click on that when it's time for the class. So you go, oh, today's Monday, it's 10 o'clock, and we go to biology. You click on the class, you click on that Zoom, and it will take you right into her class. So the reason I'm telling you that is you won't be getting a separate schedule for us. You will simply go to Bright Thinker, and that is your schedule right there. It has all your classes, the dates, the time, and you will use that. If you need to put it in order, you know, 10 o'clock I have this, 10:45 I have that. You will write all of that down. And that's where you will get your schedule. Okay. Hopefully today, tomorrow.
Just a reminder, the classes don't show up until just before they start, so don't worry if they're there.
So, well, they will, won't they be posted there, or they won't show up till the 5th?
I think they don't show up till just before class starts.
We enroll them for the September 5, so their classes won't appear until September 5. But we tell them that in the login letter that they won't see them, so.
Okay.
Documented there.
But if they need to get their schedule down, we probably should have it open before that, but they won't be able to see assignments. We just did everything closed up, I'm thinking, but we'll talk about that later. Okay. Okay, thank you, Bonnie. Orientation is the 30th of this month from 1 o'clock to 2:30. And remember that we only have one language here at Sycamore because we're in Central Pine. So you all have to make all the adjustments where you live. Unfortunately, I don't know any other way to do it. So anytime you see time posted, it's probably going to be Central Time. So 1 o'clock Central Time. If you're on the East Coast, that would probably be 2 o'clock. For the West Coast, that will be 11 o'clock. Is orientation for teachers. I have the teachers come in, Mrs. Fuller, if you can come in and we just introduce you, and then that would be it, so that they can get they get the opportunity to see their teachers. We haven't actually planned orientation. I don't think we're going to do anything more than that this year because we have a lot to cover.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you have a list of all the independent studies you offer?
I would, no, we really don't. Well, we have a list of all the classes that we offer, but not everything is available independent study. For instance, chemistry is not independent study. But I can give you a list of all the classes, and then you can go, hey, can I take this one independent study? Does that help? Thinking that you are Ryan. Is that Ryan talking to me?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay. Yeah, talk to me later, Ryan. I can get you a list of all the classes.
Yeah, if you could.
Okay, send me an email. Okay, any other questions? Okay, thank you all for coming today. I appreciate it. And any questions, you've got my email, you've got my phone number, and I'm happy to answer any questions or even meet with you separately for Zoom. So, thanks.